Ladies and freaking gentlemen. Hey, can you hear me right now?
I can.
That is my man, dude. The quote, GFUEL man himself is actually in the building right now. The quote, GFUEL man himself, my man, Kursed, here right now. Big time pogs. Here we are, dude.
It's me, dude.
Dude, look at this incredible setup you have too. I know there's been a lot of memes, a lot of flexing here as of recent. And let me tell you, your setup is definitely one of them. That background is fire. And you got a bunch of them you got a bunch of Nanoliths all throughout the house I've seen, huh?
Yeah, so like maybe I think it's about a year and a half ago we bought I introduced Cliff to Nanoliths. Like he saw them, bought him the starter kit, and it was like, I want more, and more and more and more. And then we met someone at from TwitchCon that worked for Nanoleaf.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, I see all your stuff online. She's like, it's dope. Let me send you some more.
What?
So we have a good relationship with them now. They're great. They gave us pretty much anything that we really need or we asked for.
That's what happens. That's what happens when you're the GFUEL man. That's just what happens, bro. No, it's fire.
It is nice.
It's super fire.
Nice to have context. It's a very different scene. It's at first, when I first started doing this, I was very I don't want to say I was shy, but I was very awkward when it came to like writing a professional email.
Dude, like, I'm terrible at it.
I don't like overuse quotes or like apostrophes or periods. Like,
really,
it's really weird. Like I'm used to it now, obviously after doing it for 2.5 years.
Right.
But like I was always more of a hands-on guy. So like I was doing construction before all this. So like I was just like, giving my plans and let me go to work.
And let's go with it. Dude, speaking of you being like, when I first got started in doing all this, you said you were super awkward. How long have you been doing this now?
So funny. So I guess when I started working at GFUEL was April of 2018.
Okay.
And that was like the really first time that I really started more towards, like, I don't want to say like the office position, but that's what we work on from. If you're working from home or if you're working in the office,
right? It's
still an office position, right? You sit in front of a computer for the most time.
Yeah.
Before I was doing hands-on work. I was doing general labor and commercial construction for 8-10 hours a day.
Yeah, yikes.
So I guess April of 2018 is when I really jumped into it. So.
And you just did you just like drop everything and say fuck it, it's showtime? Like this is what I want to do, or what's up?
I want to say yeah and no. There was definitely challenges that I hit when I first started it, where I couldn't do both.
Yeah.
And I had to choose one. And after getting to know Cliff a little bit, I knew that I wanted to work for this company. And that's when I just full sent it.
Dude, dude, it's such a scary feeling too, just dropping everything and being like, because obviously, it's a similar situation with streaming, because it's honestly what I did too, is just drop everything that I was doing and just say fuck it, I'm putting everything I got into that. What a scary time, especially if you were like I don't know, like for me, I had like 2 months of rent saved up, and then I was just like fuck it, let's go. And
I was very similar to that.
Yeah,
mine was a little more forced, I want to say.
Okay.
So I worked for Apple before working for GFUEL.
Really?
And the whole thing started because I'm gonna back up, but I'm gonna start it from the beginning. And I know we kind of touched on this.
We did, and I want to hear this so bad. I want to hear this story so bad.
So this is definitely, I've had a lot of people asking about it, and like I can't tell you how many times I've recited this story on stream, or like I've just talked about it in person with someone.
Yeah.
So I met Cliff.
And for people who don't know,
our very first DM.
For people who don't know, tell us who Cliff is.
So Cliff is the current active founder and CEO of GFUEL.
Right.
So I went back yesterday and I looked just to make sure. So our first DM encounter was January 1st at like midnight.
Okay.
Okay.
What the hell are you DMing my boy on New Year's New Year's
No.
Day.
Okay, he DM'd me. Okay.
Oh,
He
okay.
DM'd me. Okay.
Okay. My bad.
So, but before all this, so he posted a tweet out that he was looking for Fortnite people to play with, right?
Okay.
This is when Fortnite was really big, you know, season like 1 and 2, double pump, all the good stuff,
Oh
right?
man, the best time of
The
Fortnite.
good times,
Yeah,
right? You
for
know,
sure.
yeah. Before I went, you know,
Yeah.
So I posted a really sarcastic picture. And before this, I didn't really use Twitter. Like I used Twitter a little bit, you know, to promote my streams, but I was the kind of guy that had like, I had like 500 followers.
Right. Okay.
So I posted a sarcastic ass picture, and I was like, it was a MetaThreads backpack, right?
Okay.
And it was the level 3, and I said, I think I got room for you and your homie if you need some, if you need to carry, right?
Actual dickhead, by the way.
Yeah, like actual like sarcastic comment, like not thinking anything. I was at work,
Yeah.
and I just got home when he sent me a message, and it was like it was the most weirdest time. It was like midnight, like 5 after midnight on New Year's Day.
Yeah. What?
So he was like, hey man, he was like, gonna throw you an ad on Epic. He's like, we can build, but we can't really get that many kills. I was like, all right, cool, man. Like I'm pretty good all around. I was like, we'll just play and chill, right?
Right.
And then fast forward the next day, I was off work. We squatted up for a few hours, and he did the whole, hey, you know, what do you do for a living? You know, nice to meet you. I told him what I did.
Like the low key interview.
And it was, I don't know if it was like an interview, but it was more like maybe like the CEO/business mentality. Hey
Okay.
man, you know,
Yeah,
whatever.
I feel
First
that.
time acquaintances. So played for a little bit, and then like we played like he was like at least like once a week for the next like probably like 3 weeks we were playing like just randomly.
That's tight.
And this is when like Fortnite was like really big. Like
Yeah,
really,
of course.
really big.
Yeah.
Like, you know, Double Pump was like the big season. You know, those were like where all the high kill games from.
It
Building
was,
wasn't
dude.
crazy.
That was when all of the streamers who are big names made their name. Like that was
when
the
it
start
started.
for
You
sure.
know, when Myth was like building crazy builds and people were like,
yeah,
"Oh my god!"
and
now
everyone
it's
was
just like,
freaking
dude.
out about it. God,
Right.
yeah.
So we kept playing for a bit, and then like he knew I worked for Apple. Something came up, and he needed help with his phone, and he reached out to me, and he was like, "Hey man," he's like, "really sorry to like ask you this, blah blah blah." somehow between our games and him asking me that question, we exchanged numbers somehow.
Okay.
I don't remember what the conversation was about it, but anyways, he had my number, I had his. He reached out to me, and I helped him out with the favor with Apple, even though I technically wasn't supposed to. But I mean, I was a big fan of GFUEL, and if the guy, you know, the owner asked you for a favor, I wasn't gonna
yeah,
say no.
dude, you hook him up for sure.
Right? You know,
for sure.
I dapped him up. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I helped him out, and he like in return he was like, "Hey man," he's like, "send me your address. I'll send you a small GFUEL care package." You know?
Okay. Already perks coming in.
Him completely unaware of what I did for him. Definitely could have lost my job. But me, like I was good about it. You know, I was slick. You know,
okay.
I was in and out. Anyways.
Okay. Yeah, definitely could have lost my job, but here's a GFUEL care package, bro.
Fuck that job, dude.
Okay.
So we were talking about, forget what it was. We came up with the topic of him wanting to do a new room, and I told him that like I told him I was like, yeah, man, like I really love computers. You know, I really enjoy doing what I do now. I was like, I build them for fun. You know, setups are like my thing. Like I enjoy, you know, like, hey man, you want to come build my setup? Ah, bro, where you live? You know,
yeah.
I won't. Granted, I would do it like friends and stuff. You know,
yeah,
but, like,
for sure.
So he was like, really? And I was like, yeah, man. I was like, he's like, text you some pictures of what you built. So I texted him a bunch of pictures and stuff. And like next week, he was like, hey man, he was like, how about I fly you down to New York? He's like, I'll pay for your flight. I'll put you in a hotel. He's like, if you want to help out with my room, set up my audio and all that stuff,
dude. Yeah,
I will. He's like, if you want to do it, I'll fly down for like a week and a half. I was like, let's do it.
And you said, hell yeah, let me cancel everything.
I said, let's go.
Yeah,
know?
literally everything you got is fucking gone now. Whatever, let's go. Okay.
So I lined it up where I had 3 days off of work. I took another 3 days off work, and then I had the other 3 that lined up with it. So I was good, you know. I was gone for 9 days. It was from like the 16th to the 24th.
Okay.
Of
and you were in Canada at this point, right?
Yeah. So ironic. So even now, I still live in Canada. I live remotely close to the same spot.
Okay.
So I drove down to Toronto, which is like 40 minutes from me.
Okay.
Went to the airport. You know, first time flying alone. I usually don't ever fly alone. So I was
Really?
like, yeah.
Dude, were you
I didn't do
freaking
much.
out?
A little bit. I was definitely freaked out. I was like, dude, I was like, what happens if I miss my like the most okay, so if anyone knows like a first time flyer, like you fly alone, most time like I said, I work construction, right? So I was always flying with my dad. So
Yeah.
my dad used to do like doing this for ages,
Yeah.
So I would just follow his lead, we get in,
Yeah, you
check
do.
it-
Yeah.
you check in, and then you go to your terminal and
Yeah.
you go through TSA and stuff. So I was like, all right, I was like, where's check-in?
Dude, I swear to God, I remember my first time flying too, and I remember walking into the airport, and shout out this old ass white lady was like, she looked at me and she was like, "You look lost," and I go, "It's my first time flying alone. What do I need to do?" And I'm this big ass dude, and she's like, "Okay, come here, honey." And like she walked me through
Come here,
every
sweetie.
like my grandmother just held me by the hand, my big ass, and walked me through the whole airport. Told me everything to do. Oh my God, I miss every flight without that lady.
Mine wasn't as bad. Like I knew to look for signs, and I was like, you know what? I'm like, there's signs everywhere. This wasn't a crazy airport. Like I've been to this airport before, so I knew where most of the stuff was. But I flew out of a different terminal this time.
Okay. Yeah.
So I was like, all right. I was like, let's look for the signs. Look for check-in.
Yeah.
So I found my gate. And I was like, all right, check-in's got to be somewhere around here. So I went on the corner. I did the whole thing. Went through the whole shabam.
Yeah.
And then I went through TSA, and they're like, "What are you doing here?"
Oh boy.
I told them I was like, I'm here for a friend's birthday party. I didn't want to tell. I was like, oh yeah, the CEO flew me down for like, he's gonna fly me down for free, and I'm giving him some fucking hookup, the setup.
Yeah, you don't want to be like, I'm here to build computers for my friend.
Right. Yeah.
But
so
you went with, I'm here for a friend's birthday party.
Yeah,
dude.
It was the first I could think of.
Oh my. Okay, so friend's birthday party.
So I flew down. He had I kid you not, there was a limo there that picked me up. All right,
dude. Okay, so you're getting the fucking royal treatment right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he was like, he told me, he was like, I have a car waiting for you, and I was like, all right, like an Uber, sweet, whatever.
And you
That's
show
what
up.
I was thinking. So I got it was a stretched SUV limo that picked me up. I walked to the garage, and it was just chilling there. The guy was wearing a suit, had my name. It didn't say my real name. It said Kursed. It was lit. It was dumb lit.
You know that dude standing there was like, I'm fucking waiting on some dude named Kursed. When you walked up, were you like, was he like, Kursed? This is you?
Yeah, I was like, and then he asked me for my ID to show him.
Oh, okay.
Because he knew my real name as well.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, I showed my ID, got in the car, he drove me to the house. So got to the hotel, and they're like, oh yeah, we almost sold your room. I was like, great. What now?
Great.
So Cliff, so one of my coworkers, Clay, he works in our animation department.
Okay.
Cliff called him, and he was like, you gonna go stay with Clay? Dope dude. Into cars. We share like a lot of same interests.
Okay.
That was like my main dude for the longest time before like I really started working there.
Yeah.
So we I drove down we went to his place. I stayed there for like 9 days. I got unpacked.
And shit was cool there, right? Like
yeah, like it was super chill. Like, I'm super into cars, and like he was super. Like, we had all the same interests, like the same games.
That is so clutch.
It was
so
clutch.
It
was like literally like I looked at like an exact duplicate of myself. Like,
really,
he was like, we both loved Rocket League, if you know what that is. Like, I'm sure.
Of course, I know what Rocket League is.
Right, it's lit. So we've had Rocket League. We had that was most of the game we played. Like, we played Rocket League and Fortnite. That was really it.
Yeah,
and then, like, we went out for drinks. We both love cars, so like we clicked like instantly. There was like nothing awkward about it. So
that's clutch too, because you know how lucky that is, dude. Yeah. That does not happen.
I was like, I don't know who this guy is. I'm like, dude, what if like, So I was thankful for that. I was like, you know what, that's dope. So I crashed that night, and then in the morning, he's like, I'm taking you to the house before I go to work. I'll drop you off there. Cliff's there already. So I went there. Cliff was really, really short. So
like, okay, how short are we talking?
Like 5'7", like 5'7", like 5'8". But I'm 6'4", So like, I walked in, and he was in the kitchen, and like I turned the corner thinking I was meeting like eye to eye with someone,
Yeah.
and his exact reaction was, "Holy shit, you're fucking tall."
So how tall are you?
I'm 6'4".
Okay. Dude, so you towered over homie.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So you walk in and meet
So
the man himself.
right, and then I got greeted by Cooper. Most of you guys know who Cooper is. If you've seen Cliff, it's like Cliff's best friend's his dog, Dalmatian, beautiful dog.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that dog.
So that dog is like Cliff would hey babe, move over. No, the dog's in bed already. So Cooper was definitely his best friend.
Hell yeah, that's what's up.
So everyone knows like Cooper's always by his side and doesn't leave him. So
Yeah, I saw pictures of
Quality
Cooper on your
content.
Instagram, and
Yeah.
because I was scrolling through them last night, and I was like, holy shit, this dog has got to be the cutest thing on the face of this earth.
yeah,
I think so. Was
it's a
this your
good
first
dog.
time in New York?
It was my first time in the U.S.
Really?
Yeah, I was supposed to
Whoa.
go back when I was a kid. I had to have like a surgery, so I didn't go. So that was the first time flying alone, being in New York, being
Alone.
in the US.
Well, pretty much alone. God,
Mhm.
and you just had to stay with some rando at the time because that dude,
Yep.
that right then, I am immediately like, nah, bro, fuck that. Like, I'll get a hotel. Like, I'll pay for it myself. I'll figure it out. Like that.
Yeah.
That is my nightmare because I'm the guy where I have no luck. So I show up and that dude is the polar opposite of me. And I'm like, this sucks, dude. Get me out of here.
I definitely caught a break with that.
Yeah, that's
me
tight.
even now like that was like even now like me and Chloe are like super close. Like
Yeah.
so we clicked with everything. So it definitely was dope to have that. Like it just made the whole experience like the whole like beginning experience a lot easier.
Yeah.
So we're at the house. Cliff, we had like some food. We were chilling for a bit. And then he showed me the setup he had upstairs. It was your basic setup. You had a couple computers
Yeah.
and a couple desks. Nothing crazy. So we had all the stuff ordered in advance. He gave me like a budget. It wasn't really a budget. He just asked me how much I needed.
Okay.
So, I went through all of it. He got the approval. We ordered it so that when I got there, everything was already there, ready to go.
Yeah. Then you just got to work.
Yeah. So another guy that lived here before he moved, Gamma Fierce. He's not with us anymore, but he was like that was like the in-house guy before I came here.
Okay. Like the guy that deal with all the any problems that anybody had with computers.
So like
okay.
he was so any tech stuff, any stuff he needed for the house, Cliff went to him for the stuff. So we both got to work, then the whole 9 days, like we would put like 6 hours a day, but it was a lot of work,
Of course.
Audio was new to me.
Yeah.
But I wanted to also I was like, damn, like this is my chance to if I'm gonna make a good impression, now is the time. You know? So I went I gave my best into it. All the computers were built, got all the monitors set up, all the setups. It was looking dope. It was a good setup.
Yeah.
And we still use that to this day. We still use the same general layout that I made. Mostly the same audio. Like we've changed some stuff around, but for the most part, it still has its core roots.
Yeah. That's dope.
So got all that done. Got all the audio done. This is back in 2 years ago. This is way back before GoXLR came around.
Yeah, that was what I was gonna ask next. Is what were you guys running for audio?
So we were running a Yamaha X40. It was like an 8-input microphone, like an 8-input microphone. Dude, it was
just
horrible.
Was it massive?
Oh yeah, I still have it. It's in the closet in another room. It was like $400.
Yeah, of course.
So we set that up. It was a pain to learn. So originally we wanted the way he wanted was realistically not really ideal.
Okay.
You put 2 computers in an office, cool, whatever. You can make it work. You put 3, a little crowded, you're gonna have echo. You put 4 in there, it's gonna be echo.
Wait, 4?
4 computers in 1 room.
And how many people on each 4 people or what?
4 people, 4 PCs.
Holy shit. What a nightmare.
There was 8 monitors plus a TV, and then we had back then it was just webcams that were plugged in.
Yeah.
But now we have So each station has 2 monitors, and then also has a Sony A6000 run to it.
Right. Dude,
So
just
it
thinking about how
has
hot that room gets in general.
we
Holy
have
shit.
luckily there's an AC in there that's just strictly
Dude.
for that room.
Oh
It
my
goes right
god.
above the main setup. It kind of like disperses through the room perfectly. So
Well, that's clutch because I'm just thinking about the body heat, computer heat. Holy
Mhm.
hell.
Yeah,
God.
it was definitely not pleasant at first, but it kind of grows on you. Like we had the AC changed and it's a lot better now. So now
Yeah.
just like it pumps out some nice cold air. Yeah, I'm more of a fan of like of natural air.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm the kind of guy that will open a window and let the breeze come through.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
so the house is a rental,
Okay.
so there is no screens behind the window. So you open the window, it's just
Mm,
pure window. You can just whoop out the window,
yeah, yikes. Just
And
let
to
all
this
the
day,
bugs in.
there is still no screen. Just
Fire.
um, so we did all that. It was all good. The whole setup was done. My job was done. I went to the office. I met everybody. Cliff was happy. I flew back home and I went back to my boring life. Working for
After
Apple.
the taste of
Right.
being, but which
9
by the way
days.
too, did you get the opportunity to actually like utilize that setup in game with everybody?
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
dude,
So so every night we were gaming. We did a Friday. So even now we do a Friday and Sunday stream from 6 to 10.
yeah,
And that's like Cliff's thing. Cliff gets to hang out with people, gets to
yeah,
play video
yeah,
games. Doesn't really have to worry about much. All of his responsibilities gone. He
yeah,
gets to
yeah, for
relax,
sure.
chill, be a normal guy. So that was it all started back then. So I was on both of those streams. He introduced me. Um, people were like, "Yo, man, what's up? Like, welcome to the community."
Yeah, for
Super
sure.
warming. Um, and then went back home. Um, Everything was good. We did like a couple events. I did a 24-hour stream with them. So like they
Mm,
did a 24-hour stream from the house, and then I did a 24-hour stream from my room.
okay.
After. So it was a 48-hour combined
Yeah, yeah,
split into 24s.
dude.
So I did that.
Just thinking about that, like it's such a different atmosphere when you get to actually game with all your homies in the same room. You
That
know,
was the thing. It was like I was like, man, I was like,
it kind of
I
like
don't know.
bums you out when you leave.
I definitely was bummed out, dude. I was
Yeah,
like, damn, like I don't want to leave. Like,
yeah,
no,
and
I
then you
didn't
get
want.
back
It
home and
wasn't
you're
like
like,
that, but I was like, damn. I was like, this is dope. Like
yeah,
that. So I knew before, like when I first met Cliff, and he was like he hooked me up, like he got me like the whole limo and the way he talked. Like I knew that like I wanted a shot at working for the company,
yeah, for
and I was
sure.
like, and I knew, so like I'm the kind of guy that if I want something, I'm gonna get it.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
I had this saying before: if you want something bad enough, you'll find a way to do it. If not, you'll keep making excuses for yourself.
right, 100%.
So I was like, you know what? Like this is like the perfect time for me to show him like what I can bring. It's a different thing because like back then remotely wasn't really a thing. It's kind of weird now if like to look at it now versus 2 years ago.
Right,
Most people did that whole 9 to 5. You wake up, you shower, you get ready, you leave for work,
you do your
you come
thing.
home.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah, yeah,
so um and this is what I was talking about before, like the whole forced type full send it type
right.
thing when I
Yep.
so I so 2 weeks pass, I do whatever, we do a couple events together. Um he sends them to GFUEL, I'm repping it fine. And then my work cut my hours back. So Apple the thing about Apple is that always, no matter how many years or how many hours you put in, unless you work directly at an Apple facility or like a headquarters,
Yeah,
you can always be replaced. You're not worth anything extra because who
yeah.
wouldn't want to work for Apple? It's a
Dude,
dope job.
there's a line out the door to get into work at
Hmm.
Apple. I've seen some crazy stats about like how it's easier to get into Stanford than it is to
Yeah.
become an
So
Apple employee.
I started from working I started in tech support then. Like it was Apple Care.
Okay.
It was a customer support. It was the worst job ever.
Were you just like answering phones all day
pray
or
to our
what?
CS team. Yeah, kind of. It was a little more in depth than that.
Okay.
So before you do it, you gotta go through a 6-week training program.
Dude.
Okay, 6 weeks. All right, of learning Apple products, like everything you can think about it, like how to access the information, like what's restricted, what you can do, what you can't do, all that crap. So I was there for about a year and a half, 2 years almost
Yeah.
before I started like the whole thing with G Fuel.
Yeah.
And they cut my hours back. All right,
Yeah.
which I was like, all right, that's bullshit. Like,
Yeah. Fuck this.
So they cut my hours back, and I knew at the time Cliff mentioned that he was looking to expand. Right?
Okay. Because this is semi early days of G Fuel. I mean,
No, no.
not
So
like
G
super
Fuel has
early.
been around. G Fuel has been around for about since in 2000 since 2004. But
Holy
originally,
shit.
yeah. So before it was called G Fuel, it was called Gamma Labs.
Right.
And Gamma
Okay.
Labs was the original company that Cliff made, and that was an all natural testosterone booster. Like we were in the UFC slash like fighting community.
Right. Okay.
That was his thing, right?
Okay.
And the way G Fuel happened is that he had the same formula he was using now
Yeah.
that he was using for fighters. Back then, Call of Duty was a big thing. It still is now, but Call of Duty specifically waiting outside of a Best Buy, or like a GameStop, or like
Dude, of course. I remember that. I also
right.
remember all the esports that went along with it. It's crazy.
So Cliff had a friend that owned a GameStop, and he was like, "Hey man," he was like, "This was for COD MW2, okay?" So
Dude, yeah, okay.
right. So this was even though people didn't know at the time, this was being like one of the most like legendary Call of Duties to ever drop in history.
That
which
is my
I still think
favorite
World of
Call
War
of Duty.
I don't want to say World of War. I say COD 4 and MW2 are by far my two favorite COD games.
Yeah, same.
So Cliff had a bunch of those sample packs we usually have. I don't have any in my office, but everyone knows what they are. You know, a single serving of G Fuel.
Yeah.
And he gave out like 1,000 of them at this lineup. Okay.
Okay.
And overnight there was like 1,000+ orders that happened.
Holy shit.
And Cliff explains it the best way you can explain it is it's an overnight success. So after that night, he basically changed towards gamers rather than fighters. You know, fighting is a really expensive market.
Of course.
So he switched everything over to gamers, and that's how G Fuel happened. And then from there, it just was just nonstop success.
Dude, I can't imagine. I'm thinking back to those days, and I didn't have G Fuel or anything or Gamma Labs or anything like that at that time. But I can imagine that crew that he handed those out to. Those dudes
Freaks.
were just cracked for like 7 to 10 hours. Just Prestige 2, Night 1.
Right. These kind of guys, like, they wake up, they crack back at G Fuel.
Yeah,
and
showtime,
they go,
baby.
They got shit dust on their controller.
Yeah.
Like, everything.
Dude, I think we're all still searching for that feeling of those games to this day.
Dude, I wish.
Dude,
there's some games I hope in the future they come. Like, I've had it with, like, I'm a big FPS gamer, and that's how I still enjoy new games. But as of lately, yeah, it's definitely stale.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyways, before we get off to topic.
Yeah, my bad. Sorry. Well, this will happen often, by the way.
Dude, I'm the worst. I have like the mentality of a goldfish. All right.
Woo!
I'll talk about one thing, next thing you know, I'm talking about whales.
Don't worry, dude. So handed out all the goodies. Overnight success.
Right. So I knew Cliff was looking to expand, and I knew he met me. I knew that, like, we clicked. So I was like, fuck it. I'm gonna be like this dude. So Cliff is a very straightforward person. There's no bullshit. He doesn't sugarcoat stuff. He's straight to the point, right?
Shout out to people like that, man. That is such an underappreciated gift. The God, I hate people who dance around shit. Anyways, yes. So God.
I was like, I told him what was going on. And he was like, he basically told me, he's like, I'm looking to expand. He's like, what are your skills? Like, I know apart from like your technology side, like, what are you looking to do? I told him that I didn't have any experience in like the esports industry, but apart from being like all hands on my whole life,
right?
That was like my big thing.
Yeah,
I wanted to be hands on, like, as much, even though I was like, I knew it would be like an office position probably.
Yeah.
I wanted to be hands on. I like making things. I like being
hell yeah,
the guy that I can show off the work. I want to, like, rather than it being on paper, I want to show it.
Yeah, for sure. I'm with that.
So he was like, all right, man, like, we'll talk, whatever, we'll see what we can do. And so I left it at that. That was the whole conversation. We kept playing Fortnite, yada yada yada. Eventually, Apple cut my hours to like 20 hours a week.
Yikes.
And streaming wasn't really kicking off for me. I still streamed, I was just having fun, I was just
Yeah.
streaming for 8 hours a day, I was just doing my thing,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Didn't have a schedule. I was still building a community.
Yeah.
But like I invested a lot into my setup. Even now, I probably invest way too much into my setup, but
There's no
I
such thing as
like
too much, bro.
right. Everyone says that. Like, oh, you need more. Don't tell me what I don't need and what I do need. All right.
Yeah, I know.
So I was streaming and I was playing a Fortnite, and I remember this specifically because this was like back then. This was like probably one of my best games. I had 22 kills. I was doing solos, and he calls me and he says, "Hey man, can you talk?" I kid you not, without a second, I backed out of my game instantly. I left and I called him and I shut my stream off. All right.
All this? You didn't want to just mute your shit?
No, I didn't. Back then, I was just like, I had a Focusrite and I had
Oh yeah.
an AT 2020 XLR, right?
Yeah. I had the same shit.
So I was like, you know what? I had like 5 viewers. I was like, all right, guys. I was like, I gotta take a quick phone call. Unfortunately, I don't know why I ended the stream, but I did.
Okay. Commitment to the homie.
Right. So calls me and he's like, hey man, he's like, this isn't like 100% yet. He's like, long story short, he's like, the reason I didn't get back to you right away is because I was working on some stuff and I need to make sure I can make this happen and get approval for it. And he's like, basically, after the work you did in the off, like in my home, he was like, I want you to work for the company. He's like, I want you here. I was like, I know Apple's cutting your hours back.
Yeah.
And I was like, done. I was like,
let's
where
go.
do I sign?
I
was
let's go.
ready to go.
Yeah.
So this is where it gets a little difficult, and this is like where the whole story comes into play. That like people were like, wow.
Okay.
So I was pumped,
Of course. How could you not be?
When I first flew out there, my dad told me, he was like, I was talking about like this could be like a big opportunity for me,
Yeah.
And then he was like, my parents are super old school. Okay. I was talking about you wake up, you get ready for work, you leave the door 9 to 5, you come home.
Yep.
You repeat 5 days a week.
Yep.
You're off, do your thing, right?
Yep.
So I told my parents that Cliff offered me a job.
Okay.
And they're like, really? Like, why wouldn't they give it to someone who had more experience or someone who was local? I was like, wow,
damn, man.
Just shit all of my moment,
Yeah. How are you not gonna get hype about that?
My parents from the get-go, even to this day, are not very supportive of what I do.
Really?
Yeah.
Even now?
Now it's not as bad. But I told them before, I was like, look, when I was getting a little better and I was like, the whole thing progressed, I told them, I was like, if you're not going to support me now, don't think I'm just going to like let you in, 2 years down the road after I'm done struggling or whatever. And that like nothing happened.
Yeah.
So I told them that they knew about my job with Apple. They knew that my hours were cut back, and they told me to find another job. Right. They told me that I need to be working full time, and I need to pay my bills.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? Like GFUEL was paying me. It wasn't like a huge amount. I was only really working part time.
Yeah.
But between what I got paid from them in US and what I still was making at Apple, I was able to meet my bills. Like I didn't have any bills really. I paid rent.
Yeah.
For my parents. I was like, okay, living at home with my parents. They made me pay rent. They were like trying to like get me ready for like.
Wait, they made you pay rent at home?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I had to pay $300 a month.
I mean, that's not bad, but still.
Right, I'd gladly pay $300 a month.
Yeah, dude, you know how you have to pay $300 a month now?
So that was like, I was like, all right, whatever. I can pay my bills, I can pay my phone bill. I got money after. I'm chilling.
Yeah.
I didn't really have any responsibilities other than like my stuff at Apple, but I was fine.
Yeah, for sure.
So I told them that, and they're like, absolutely not. What do you mean? I was like, I'm paying my bills. Like I have another job.
Yeah.
And this goes to the whole super old school type thing.
Okay.
And they're like, they're like, working from home was never an option in this house.
Of course, yeah, because they're old school.
Right.
You don't work from home in an old school house.
Right. So my parents were like, if you're not leaving that door for 8 hours a day and then coming back home after a work day, they're like, this house isn't for you. And I kid you shit. Actually, that's what they told me. My stepmom said that word for word.
Jesus Christ.
And my dad just let it go. You know, he just backed her up. That was it.
And so that was
So
it.
this went on for like a month, maybe 2 months. I was like, no, like I'm happy where I am. Like this is a shot for me to like do something bigger, and it's scene that I wanted to explore.
Yeah.
And I was like, why can't you just support me, right?
Yeah.
One day I was like on like a phone call with Cliff at like it was with Cliff, and then I hung up after. It was like a 10 o'clock phone call, right?
Okay.
And my mom's like, "What time do you work?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm off today, but I'm working with GFUEL." And she's like, "No, you're not." She's like, "You need to go and start finding another job." She's like, "I'll print you resumes." And I was like, "No."
Yeah.
I was like,
What?
I'm not doing that. I was like, "I'm happy. I can pay my bills. That's all that matters."
Right.
So she was like, "Then get out of the house." I was like, "No." I was like, "I pay my rent here. I paid my bill. You can't like just kick me out." And yeah, long story short, she kicked me out that day. I
Holy
uh
shit.
I packed a small bag. I went to my grandma's house, which was like luckily just 2 blocks down the road from me.
Right.
I told her what happened. Um, she let me stay there for about 3 months,
Yeah.
4 months, till I saved up some extra money, and then the guy that I actually have a condo with now, I actually moved into his place with his mom and his sister, and they let me crash there
Dude.
for about 8 months while I got myself settled, and I was like, I was working my way up, and I was grinding, trying to save some cash for my own place.
Yeah. Holy shit, dude.
Yeah, so they didn't support it what bit. They were like, nope, that's not happening. Get out of the house. My dad didn't do nothing. Keep in mind, this is my stepmom, right? So
Yeah,
like, this is
yeah,
like,
that's a me. I'd be like, yo, who the fuck are you? What's
yeah,
going on?
it definitely, I definitely said some things.
Of
I was like,
course.
you're not my real mom.
Yeah,
Blah blah blah.
of course.
So um my homie was like, "Look, man," he was like, "We just like the basement's like my grandma just moved out." He's like, "It's not like a fully finished bedroom." He's like, "But it's got enough room for like a bed, an office, like your computer desk. It's got like your door. You can do your own thing. Like my mom will charge you the same rent that like you would pay at your mom like your parents' place,
Okay, and
and she's
dude,
not gonna judge you."
yeah, that's a
So like I've been
godsend too,
friends. I've been friends with this guy for 8 years now, kind of about 9 years.
dude.
It's like this is like a high school homie.
Okay,
This is like when this was like the whole thing that like started like where I called like it was like I was like, oh, like good morning mom type thing.
yeah, yeah,
So like his family is my family,
yeah, yeah.
that's the so
That's awesome too, man.
it it was like a little bit rough at first, like I was like after that hit, like I was like, damn, like my parents like just like disowned me.
Yeah, dude, that's got to be
So
such a bummer. Like, especially to not have
it
your
was
dad
tough.
back you up. Like that's your
It was tough.
dad. Yeah,
Yeah. So, my mom and my dad divorced, like, whatever. My mom found out what happened. She caused like a scene.
shout out to mom.
So,
Shout out to
my
mom.
mom since day one has been a huge supporter of this. She's like, just do what makes you happy,
Shout out
you
to
know.
mom, dude. Yeah.
So, uh, so yeah, so that's kind of where this whole thing kicked off, and that's where I told you back then where there's like a kind of like a full send type thing.
Yeah.
So after that happened, I was like, you know what? Fuck Apple. It's like I put my 2 weeks in, and I switched to like focus fully on G Fuel.
Yeah.
That was like my thing. So
Damn.
I threw everything into G Fuel,
Yeah.
and I was just like, Cliff called, I answered. I never once questioned him. I just asked him when he needed it and what he needed, if he needed something from me.
And you got it done.
And that was it. I just I gave it my all. I was given 120% to everything I did. Um, I built my way into the community, and that's kind of how I started out. Like where like a lot of people know me from is from G Fuel. I didn't
Yeah.
really have a name before that.
So what were you doing for G Fuel whenever you were like when you first got there, when you dove into everything? Like what was your main like your main goals to get to have done?
So my main stuff was, apart from like doing the Twitch stuff, G Fuel didn't really have much in terms of like community side. Like they had their audience, right? And
Yeah.
the whole Twitter, but they didn't have like a Discord or any of that stuff.
Okay.
So me and another coworker, um, we built the Discord out, and we built the Discord, and it's got like 13,000 members now.
Yeah.
So from like we built that out from the ground up, and that is what like my main focus was on, was community stuff, and that's how I
Okay.
actually became the community manager for GFUEL down the road, was because like
Because
I
of
had a
this.
lot. Right, most people knew me um from knowing, because I was with Cliff a lot, and like that was like the guy
Yeah.
that I reported to for a lot of time. And as things went down, like I was here. Like I'll explain how I got that title and stuff. And um so we built out the Discord, and that was like my main focus.
Okay.
And apart from like helping out with like small things like the Twitch streams and all that stuff, that was like really my main thing. He didn't really have the work to give me like a whole 8-hour day.
Yeah.
So I was just, I was just streaming in my time, like the time. And if he needed me, I would either pause the stream and I would, do whatever he needed to
Yeah.
do, or I would turn it off. It was a little more work. And I did that for like 4 or 5 months, maybe 6.
Yeah.
And then I got a raise. And keep in mind, like
Ayo.
being an independent contractor, and I was getting paid in US.
Okay.
So I got paid in US. I got to pay the PayPal. So the conversion back then wasn't that bad, but it was good.
Of course. Yeah.
So I finally had enough saved up where I was able to move out to like a place. I rented a room from a guy off of like Facebook Market. He was a good guy. He was.
Jesus Christ.
Dude, I had to do what I had to do.
I
didn't
get
have
it.
enough.
Holy shit.
Yeah, dude,
I
I've been through the
know.
hole.
I know that desperate times call for desperate measures, but holy shit. Thinking about that
Yeah.
right now sounds like a fucking nightmare. I could never do that.
And like I had like a really good. I don't want to say I have a good judging character, but I definitely can tell someone right from the get go if it's
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
be a good click or not. So this guy was nice. We had a little bit of similar interests. Like he was a gamer too.
Okay.
But he was the kind of guy that like he had like, I guess he got hurt. So he was in the same line of work that I was doing before in commercial construction.
Okay.
And he had a steel beam fall on his back.
Jesus.
So he was in Canada. We have a thing called like it's called welfare. That's what they call it. It's actually just government financial assistance.
We got that too.
So he was on that, and he's the kind of guy that was laid back. He was super chill. He's like the gamer,
Yeah.
pothead, whatever. I had no problem with people fucking smoking weed in Canada.
Yeah,
That
for
was legal
sure.
at the time. I was just like, just don't, like, if you're gonna smoke in your room, just like crack a window or something. I don't
Yeah,
want to smell
for
in my
sure.
room.
Yeah.
So we got along good. Like we never had any issues. And this was like when I moved to there. This is when I started to travel a little bit more for like to New York and stuff.
Yeah.
So I started traveling a lot more to New York. I was flying out there, like doing events and all this other stuff that we were putting on.
What kind of events were you doing?
So we had house events. So Cliff's like really big with streaming, and it's always been a really big thing for him.
Okay.
So we did events where we would invite, like 12 to 15 people down.
Yeah.
And we would do like a 24-hour stream or like a 48-hour stream.
Okay.
So
That's
first
tight,
we did
actually.
24-hour, and it was just like people in house. It was just like staff, like it was me, a couple other guys, Cliff, a couple of his friends that were also gaming and helped him with the streaming.
Yeah.
And that was it. And then we expanded to do the 48, and then when we did the 48, we started bringing in outside influence. So people we sponsored with GFUEL, we flew them down. They got the same treatment I did. We flew them down. They got a car. They took them to a hotel. They were there for like a week.
Yeah, that's by the way, that's such an awesome idea. Like that is such a great way to get more people involved and to get more eyeballs onto more product in a way. Like that is such an awesome idea and so much fun to do to begin with.
It's
like
so much fun.
Yeah,
it's just like
that's awesome.
So Cliff is not like any of the CEO I've ever met in my life.
Really?
I used to work personal construction. I met like a bunch of these CEOs from like mainstream like retailers and stuff.
Yeah.
For the most part, they're all the same personality. But if you can find someone that will dedicate probably 8 to 10 hours a week, that will like just play games and chill and talk with his community and interact with them and give stuff back. Like I know now like how much we give away in product every month.
Yeah.
And it is a lot. Like we don't everything from Twitch. Nothing even like it's not even like a fraction to cover like what we pay. Like the money we make in revenue on Twitch is just covering the shipping costs.
Yeah,
if
that's
you can,
crazy.
Yeah. So Cliff isn't for this for the money. He just likes to give back to
for
the people
sure. For sure, that's awesome.
Like without the fans and without the community, like this wouldn't ever been possible, you know. Like
Yeah.
even like in times like this where like people are going are losing their jobs, and you know, and it's like a really scary time right now.
Yeah.
People still support the fuck out of G Fuel,
Yeah,
you
which
know.
is so fire. And I notice a lot, like I've got some friends that are with G Fuel. One of them being this dude named Revex, and he's with Soar, and it's crazy to see the amount of support that not only G Fuel gets, but also the creators that you guys have on your team as well. Like it's nuts to see how much love everybody gets, and it's everybody. It's crazy. It's not just
Yeah,
like one or two specific people.
the community we have here is definitely I want to say like it's like the best community ever. Like, you know, we don't we don't like cause trouble, you know. If something happens, you know, everyone reaches out. Like they're like one big extended family.
Yeah, which
And
is fire and very hard to do nowadays because people are
right.
shitheads.
So we started doing a lot of those, and I was traveling a lot, and I was, you know, now it became where like I was getting a little more involved with stuff.
Okay,
Um
starting to be like more of like a
so
face for things.
right.
Yeah,
So as I was kind of hanging out a lot more, and it didn't really happen until about from today, about a year ago, where I really started like growing the company.
yeah,
So we I moved positions, and I told Cliff that I wanted to become more involved. So I started doing influencer management. So I started handling influencers. I started
yeah.
out small, and I went up from there. So we hired a new guy. His name was Scotty Tidwell. I don't know if you know who that is.
I
He used to
don't.
work with Scuff. So he's our chief community officer today. That's his position since day one.
Okay,
So we did a bunch of like internal reconstruction of how things were and whatnot.
like what needed to be
So
fixed and changed or
right,
updated. Okay,
right. So we did all that with Scotty, and Scotty's a great guy to work with. At first, I was like, "Wow, this guy's a dick," but then I realized that like his practices were a little bit different, but
yeah,
they were effective and they worked and they were logical.
yeah,
So like I definitely clashed heads with him a little bit at first, and
yeah,
like even nowadays we still clash heads a bit, but for the most part, he like I still respect the guy.
yeah. That's good
Um,
sometimes, man. Sometimes you gotta have those clashes too.
so so after like he was there for like 2 months or 3 months, he reached out to me and it was like, "Hey man," he was like, I got a serious question for you." He's like, "How many hours a day do you put in?" And I was like, "I don't know, like 8-10 hours a day." And he was like, "How much do you make?" And I told him, I was like, he's like, "All right." So he's like, "Here's what we're gonna do." He's like, "I'm gonna talk to Cliff, and I'm gonna talk to the investors and all them, and he's like, "We're gonna get you a raise."
Okay,
And I
shout
was
out to
like,
this guy right off the rip.
right. So I was like, I was scared to ask Cliff because most guys only get a raise like, you know, you get like once a year type thing, right?
Yeah, and dude, all
I had gotten one like 6 months prior to that, so I was still new to the company. I
yeah,
didn't want to push waters. I
of
didn't want to
course
be
not.
unappreciative. I was able to work from home. I was still able to stream.
Yeah,
Like I was good, you
and that's
know.
such a hard thing too. Even regardless of how long you've been there, it's hard to ask for more money.
It's a very awkward
It
question to
is
ask.
so awkward. Like, hey man, can you give me more money?
Right. So, um, I was like, all right, dope. Like it caught me off guard. I was
Yeah,
like, that's sick, you know?
yeah,
And I was like, after I got like he told me what I like he talked to me about that, I was like, damn, like I could actually like I think I'm able to get my own place now, you know, my own place to stay,
yeah.
like no
And
more sharing a
dude, you got to get
place.
hype about that too.
So that was like I was like, wow. I was just feeling good inside, right?
Yeah.
So still up to this point, like this is probably um 9 to 11 months down the road
Okay.
that I've been with G Fuel.
Yeah.
I didn't talk to my parents.
Of course not.
Um but my homie that I stayed with before, I was talking to him every day. You know, that's I you
Yeah.
know, he has a disability as well. Unfortunately, he has a really bad like stutter.
Damn.
And I actually got him a job with me at Apple. He went through the training program, and his first ever call he took, some guy completely shit on him for a stutter, made the dude cry,
Yikes.
everything. Like this dude said everything in the book that could hurt him, and it just like ruined him.
Jesus Christ.
So he left,
Damn.
and he went back on like assistants and stuff.
Yeah.
And like that, like even though like I never once like I don't ever care with that. Like, you know, that's my homie since day
Yeah.
one. So
For sure.
we were gaming every day. You know, we were playing like Rocket League, we're playing CS:GO, we're playing Rust, Fortnite, like everything that every game has come out, like we always play. Like
Yeah.
that's like that is my main dude, you know.
Yeah. Everybody's got a homie like that.
So I told them what happened. I was like, dude, like I can finally get my own place. Like I got a raise. Like they basically doubled my pay that I was getting now. I was like, dude, like I was like, I did it. I was like, this is like turning into a real job, you know?
Hell yeah.
So
That's such a good feeling, man. When it finally
the
all
best
comes to
feeling.
fruition, you're like, fuck, this is what I want to do. I'm able to do what I want to do and make ends meet all at the same time.
And the best part of it was like, it wasn't that like I did it. It was more like I showed my parents, even though they didn't want to hear about it, or I didn't tell them about it. Like I knew that like I did what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Like I didn't give up. You know, I didn't want to do the traditional 9 to 5. That shit's fucking boring.
It
you
is.
Know?
It's fucking
Granted,
boring.
like what I do now is like 9 to 5, but I'm doing it in the esports scene. You know,
Something
like
that you love
I've said this
too.
before. Like I don't feel like I'm working.
Yeah.
When you genuinely
completely.
love what you do, like it's not a job. Like,
exactly. Yeah. I'm with that,
like
man.
That's why like we talked about this kind of earlier, like always grinding, like, you know, Memorial Day today, but like I'm still working kind of. Like granted, this is like kind of like, you know, a little bit off the side, but like I still have stuff I have to do today, like I'm gonna get done for work. Like I don't really like, granted I like days off where I can just, you know, sit back, I can play games for the day, you know, chill. But like for the most part, like I love genuinely what I do.
And
you know, I love what I love what I'm able to do, what I have access to. Like, I'm
that's
so
hard to
for, like,
find
what
nowadays too, man.
Like, so we as time went past, I expressed before to Cliff that like I wanted to move. Like I got my condo. It's the condo I still live in now in Canada. I still have it. My homie that actually, like the one that actually I shared a room with, or that like let me share a room from his mom's place. He actually rents a room. Like he has a room at my place right now.
At that condo in Canada.
Yeah, so I have a 2-bedroom condo, and he crashes there. I don't really charge him much. Like, he pays his rent. That's really it. Doesn't pay like nothing else. You know.
What a dope way to give back too. Like, and even if it's in something as minimal, like, you know, you said you don't charge him like a whole lot to stay there or whatever.
Yeah,
but
like,
dude,
you know,
like,
we keep like I just use his rent for food, really.
Yeah, like, dude, like that's such a cool way to be able to give back to people who have supported you early on. Like people that have been like, dude, fuck that, don't quit. Like, let's go. Like, that's like, rad.
He was like so supportive. Like that was the dude that was like, he's like, yo, like he's like, we can do this, bro. He's like, you got this. Like this is your time. Like, so I was like, he was going through some stuff with his parents. Like his mom and him got in a fight, and I was like, yo, you want to come crash here? Like you can just move your stuff here if you want. Like, I don't care. You know? At this time now, like after I got my condo, I was traveling a lot with GFUEL.
Okay.
So last year, for 6 months, I was in New York.
Okay. And is that where you're at right now?
Yeah.
That's New York.
I'm in New York right now. Yeah. So I wasn't gonna be here this long, but coronavirus happened at like really fast.
Yeah.
It was still it was going on when I flew down here, but it wasn't as strict.
Right.
You know, I still flew down here. You know, I had hand sanitizer, I had a mask. You know, I was doing all the close safe stuff. But after I was here for like 2 weeks, it got really, really bad, and we weren't done yet. I flew down here because we were doing a 48-hour stream.
Okay.
And then like a week before it happened, I was like, Cliff, I was like, we got to cancel it. I was like, it's not fair. Would look really bad on us if someone got sick.
Dude, yeah.
It was just a bad look, right?
Yeah, what a nightmare.
So, so last year I flew down June 16th and I left December 12th. So I was here for pretty much from summer to winter.
Yeah. How was that? How was winter in New York?
It wasn't bad, honestly. It wasn't really that bad. Like they didn't really get that much. Like it was, you know, it was your winter, but like it wasn't like a Canadian winter, you know?
Yeah. I'm from Florida, so any winter is winter. So yeah.
So I was here for 6 months. And originally it was just like I was only supposed to be here for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
We were doing an event. And then it was like we had so much going on that Cliff needed me here.
Yeah.
Where like he's like, call the travel agent and have her cancel your return ticket, and he's like, we'll just play it by you know, what do by week.
Yeah. Damn.
So we canceled the ticket, and then like as more things, as I went like farther and farther into the months I was here, it was like things were just so busy. Like we had events coming up, we had TwitchCon coming up, right? That
Yeah.
was a really big thing for us, right?
Yeah.
So and it was in those 6 months that I really I grew, where like people knew me as like when I was. When you think of GFUEL, like a lot of people like knew me because
Yeah.
they either knew
The
me
G
from the
Fuel guy.
stream or from Cliff, or like
Yeah.
I was the community guy, right? A lot of people knew me because I was like everywhere. I
Yeah.
guess I want to say like so. That was like that 6 month period is like really where like I really grew on the company.
Yeah.
And I was more focused on it. So they moved me out of influencer management, where like managing influencers, and I moved towards in-house content slash tech.
Okay.
um Basically everything in-house here
Yeah.
goes through me. I run the streams, I do the community stuff. And I still do like a bunch of like side projects. Like I have a bunch of side projects we do for like our influencers,
Yeah.
even though it's
Yeah.
not directly managing them. Like it's a bunch of like side projects that we need to get done.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's like my main focus now. So I guess you could say it's more business sided now rather than it being like community driven, which technically an influencer is still community side.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even though it falls into the business, like I still focus on more of the business side here.
Yeah. And just to touch on that, you talk about how when you were, traveling a bunch in those 6 months is where you kind of grew, as everybody knew you as the quote, the G Fuel guy. I mean, think
Right.
about the day that the day that you came in, and the first time I ever met you, there's people in here that have been a part of my community, and they're like, holy shit, that's Cursed, like the G, like literally. And I'm like, who the fuck is
Yeah.
this Cursed guy? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking?
So-
Like that's how far of a reach. Like that's how like these are people that have been here for a long time, and I have never spoken a word about you or G Fuel or anything. They're like, holy shit, that's Cursed. I'm like, what the fuck? Who is this idiot? Like, what are we talking
what's a
about?
curse, you
Yeah,
know?
what are we talking about?
It to see like to look back, like if you asked me 2 years ago if I would be where I am now, I wouldn't have thought about
No
it.
shot,
I
right?
never
Yeah.
once. Like I had before I worked for, like I met Cliff and I was introduced more to G Fuel. I was never really esports involved, you know. They were still growing, you know, it wasn't really a scene for it yet.
Yeah.
Um and then like I never once thought that I would get like this intertwined with it.
Yeah.
I want to say, or cross paths with this.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm definitely grateful. I definitely caught a really big break.
Of course.
And I'm thankful that like Cliff has given me like never once have I ever like he always helps me out with anything I need.
That's what, and dude, that's so hard. And I obviously I don't know Cliff by any means, but just from what I'm hearing from you, like there's so many qualities that are so hard to find in not only just like CEOs or owners, but just people in general. Like the shit that you're talking about is so hard to find, even especially now, but to have it in someone that is quote your boss is crazy. It's crazy.
So this is one of the things where like I suppose it's probably like Cliff is like it's weird because like even though Cliff is like my boss, I still I consider him more of like a really good friend. Like,
yeah.
So I when I was here longer and longer, like at times more, he was like, "You can just crash here in my place, like the company house, which is where I am now, and it doesn't charge me rent, doesn't ever ask me to like, I don't pay any bills here.
Dude,
everything is covered by the company. If we get takeout, it's on the company. If I need stuff for the office with approval, granted,
with
if
approval,
it fits, it's like if it's if it's needed, he'll bet me. Like I never once like that's why like I think that like we clicked, or, like we work so well together now because we just know what each other like.
And what needs to get done too at the same time.
Right. He knows that like he can ask me anything, and he'll know that I'll drop everything I have to get it done.
That's tight.
So the things that he's given me and like the opportunity that he gave me, I'm definitely forever grateful. So
of course, it's how could you not be? That's so awesome, man. Like that's everything that you just described is something that you don't find anymore. Like those aren't stories you hear
you
anymore.
don't.
Like
Right.
if you do, it's a very rare occasion. Like I don't know what it is now, but dude, that's awesome.
People are just dicks now. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. How's the G Fuel house set up right now? Like what lay that out for me. I've always wanted I don't know.
So this house, surprisingly, this house is actually nicer than Cliff's personal house.
Okay.
His actual home where his kids and his wife live. So Cliff has this house and he has his actual home, his own home. So this is a 4-bedroom house.
Okay.
Every room has its own bathroom.
Okay. Fire. Such a clutch. Yeah.
Right.
God.
I have a beautiful bathroom. Like it's not a huge bathroom, but like I have a big walk-in shower, like
hell yeah.
the big overhead fountain
Hell
head, like
yeah.
all that stuff, right?
Right.
So I have my own like walk-in closet, like it's dope. So right now this house has you have my office, which is like it's like a side room that no one used. It's a perfect space. It's cozy, you know.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that was an office. Like, and when I first saw
you saw the pictures of it.
Yeah,
how it
and
turned
it is
out when
awesome.
Yeah, don't mind this stuff though, because I don't.
Yeah, still waiting for you to change that, guy.
Yeah. So I have the panels out in the dining room.
Yeah,
but they just came last night, so I have them all laid out, but they're just expanding.
Yeah,
that's all.
Dude, speaking of, but before you go any further, the Kursed logo behind you. Where did you end up getting that done?
So the guy that did this logo.
Yeah.
So I knew he did those kind of logos, but I was more. This was a company project, right?
Okay.
So I reached out to him. Actually, I posted on Twitter, and someone tagged him, and this guy said all the right things at all the right times.
Perfect.
You know, he reached out to me on Instagram, email, Twitter, and he sent me a follow-up email, and he messaged me in Discord. Okay.
Jesus.
So this guy went the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
His name is RR Vision on Twitter.
RR Vision. I gotta look at because I've been hunting for my own here recently. So
the original project was for G Fuel stuff. I needed to get new G Fuel signs for some upcoming stuff we had.
Mm-hmm.
We were in the midst of signing Summit and XQC.
Yeah.
Both of those guys have been announced, but obviously with Summit being with Monster prior, he doesn't have like a sign anymore. So like we were working on some stuff with that. We want to get him a new sign. We were trying some things out. The guy that we used before that was in New York is closed down because of coronavirus.
Damn, that sucks.
And he used to do glass tubing neon signs.
Yeah.
Which not only are really, really expensive and hard to transport, they're extremely dangerous and they're really expensive.
They are so ungodly expensive.
Yeah. So the reason we didn't do them anymore is because half of them would break in shipment and the guy wouldn't insure them,
Yeah. I mean, you can't. Dude, you just can't.
So this guy hit me up and he's like, I know exactly what you're looking for. He's like, I do everything myself. He's like, I do all the CNCing. Like, he does the whole 9 yards. He sent me like this big long paragraph. And the one thing I liked is that every single message he sent me on a platform was different.
No, not just like a copy paste.
It wasn't the same message. I hate that stuff. I can appreciate it, but if you're gonna go the far as that, add a little personalization to each message.
Yeah.
The messages still had the same I want to say resume of what he did, but the whole introing was all different. Every time it was something different, it always said the right thing. So I hit this guy up, and he's like, I know exactly what you need. He was like, I need like a week turnaround time. He's like, I am so confident in my skill. He's like, if you put a deposit down on it, I will ship it and I will make the whole sign for you. If you don't like it, I'll give you a deposit back. You can keep the sign.
Holy shit.
So he sent this sign over. So this is not real neon tubing.
Right.
This is way cheaper. It's lighter. It's easier to transport. And as you can tell,
it looks
fire.
Good on
camera.
Yeah.
And the only reason why it looks blurry is because of my lens. That's the only reason why.
Of course.
It's got an adjustable dimmer on it. So I can turn it fully off. I can turn it up a little bit, turn it down a bit. So he sent me this, and there was a little bit of flaws. Some of the stuff I was like, I like this. I like that, but let's maybe see if we can fix this for the next one. He's like, tell you what, he's like, I'm gonna send your money back. And I was like, no, no. I was like, here's what we want to do instead of that. He wanted to get my money back. I was like, no, let's keep working together. So I
Yeah.
told him to take that money and take it off the next order I'm gonna do because I'm gonna order 12 of these signs from him.
12?
12 signs. So I have 12 of these signs being made in different colors for influencers, some retail space. So he is in the midst of working those out. He's doing some fixes to them.
Jesus Christ.
To the average eye, if you looked at this, you would think that nothing is wrong with it.
Yeah.
But when you look more in person, you can see some stuff. I'm super OCD. I'm very picky about what I like to
Same.
Same. So he that's how I kind of met him, and then he was like, dude, he's like, I love your logo. And I was like, I put a lot into it. Thank you so much. He's like, let me make you a sign. I was like, nah. I was like, I want to focus on the company stuff now.
Yeah, yeah.
He's like, no. He's like, this is a family business. He's like, my sons will do it. And
Oh,
I was
shit.
like,
Okay.
I was like, all right. I'm like, how much? He was like, he told me a price. I'm not gonna say the price because I don't know if that's the same price for everybody.
Yeah, don't.
He gave me a really good price though.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, let's do it. So I paid him Sunday of last week. Oh, I guess the week before it happened.
Yeah.
And he was like, it'll be done and shipped by Friday, and it'll be there by Monday.
Yeah, because you just recently got that.
I just got this on
last
on
Monday.
Saturday. I got
Okay.
it. I've only had it for a couple days.
Yeah, because I saw when you originally posted about it, I was like, holy shit, the thing is sick.
Yeah. So he sent a bunch of screenshots of it happening, and I was like, this is really dope. I was like, holy shit, like this guy, like this work is insane. Like,
yeah.
So this is his main thing that he focuses on, are those big border signed
fire
logos.
Love it. You're gonna be seeing one of mine very soon.
So I kid you not, any picture you give him, he can make into a sign. Like he'll do the full CNC cutout of it. It'll look great. Like, so that little seahorse he got going on there, he can do any color on it, and he can also do RGB for like next to like $50.
Well, guess what? It's showtime.
So
he's gonna get an order today.
Right. That's right, dude.
He's gonna get an order today.
He sent me this. I was like, dude, this is fucking badass. Like this, I was like, I love it.
Yeah.
And like he sends me like this little package here. So this is how you mount it. I haven't mounted it yet because I haven't taken the nanoliths off the wall.
Yeah.
I have to take the 2 nanoliths off the top, like right here, these 2 nanoliths.
Okay.
Like to that pointing up, my logo's gonna sit in there. So
fire, yeah.
It starts at the logo, goes down to the neon light, the signs, and then hits the sign.
That'll look tight, dude.
So I haven't just got around to like just doing it. It's a lot of work. I'm just being lazy too, honestly.
Dude, I trust me, I know.
I have so much other stuff I gotta get done beforehand. So
yeah, I feel that.
So yeah, that is really it. So like all within this 2 years of working with GFUEL, I've probably lived at the house for 8 of it, maybe 9. I've been here for about 2.5 months now.
Yeah, loving it.
And I was previously in 2019. I was here for 6 months. Cliff, like I said, Cliff doesn't pay any rent.
Yeah,
I have a room here.
Who's there? Who's there staying with you? Anybody?
No. So now there is. So there's a guy that we sponsor. His name is Biddies.
Biddies?
Biddies, yeah, his name Biddies.
All right, shout out to Biddies. Let's go. Okay.
So he's like one of those other kids that's like he's like one of those kids gonna blow up.
Yeah.
He just needs like the exposure.
Yeah.
So Cliff found him, he sponsored him, and like we were talking about some stuff with him, and then he's a part of a smaller team. It's like a 5-man team.
Okay.
And they had talks with a sponsorship company. For the sake of not shitting on them, I'm not going to say their name, but there's 2 companies. One of them backed out, but you know, if you talk to both, like they both gave offers.
Yeah.
So they knew that like they were going to go with one of them.
Yeah, for sure.
So Biddies told his dad that he is getting like both teams offer them a content house.
Okay.
And he told his dad, like, you know, one way or another, like they're gonna sign with one of these guys.
Yeah,
so he told his dad, and his dad sold his house, the house that he was living at with him. And then 2 weeks down the road, one of the orgs backed out, which left them with the other org, and they followed up and they were excited, and then the other org ghosted them.
Dude,
Full on ghost. So this dude now has
nowhere to live.
no company that's gonna like that was with him. Like he was with GFUEL, but like that was really it.
Yeah.
So he called Cliff. Cliff, like GFUEL was his first real sponsor, and like I said, Cliff is a homie. Like everyone that knows Cliff knows
Yeah.
that he will always offer his best help
Of course.
if he can.
Yeah.
So this dude called Cliff crying. I kid you not. I remember the conversation me and Cliff had about it. And Cliff's like, you know what, dude? He's like, between all the guys that are there, he's like, let's try to get you a house. Like, let's get you a team house.
Yeah.
So, he's like, what you can do? He's like, can you drive? He's like, yeah, I can drive. He's like, put your stuff in a storage, like your main stuff that you don't need, and rent a truck and drive down to New York, and you can stay at the house here for free until we find you a house.
Holy shit.
So this guy that Cliff has never met personally, like we met him,
Yeah.
but not like you don't like you live with someone, it's a lot different.
Yeah, of course. It's a lot different.
Cliff's like, you can have this room. He's like, there's a bathroom. It's got a huge shower. Like,
oh, he's got
nice
the big boy
shower. He's got a nice bathroom. Like,
yeah,
this is like a bathroom for like him and her type thing.
Okay, yeah.
So it's like you walk in, there's 2 sinks, there's a bathroom, there's a bathtub and shower separate,
Yeah.
Tons of room. It's a beautiful room, lots of fucking natural space.
Yeah.
So Cliff bought him we didn't get him a bed in there because it was just too much. Like Cliff didn't want to invest it.
Of course,
at the time.
Dude, beds are cash, bro.
So Cliff, like he has like a really nice air mattress that like it's like self-inflating. It's huge. It's a queen size mattress that.
Yeah.
So he stays there, and then we gave him a monitor.
How old is this kid?
This guy's 21. He just turned 21 on Friday.
Damn. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So we celebrated. We got him drunk as hell. It was great.
Of course, you have to.
Right.
It's initiation into adulthood.
Like it was my obligation as such a good friend.
It is your obligation. I am so glad that you made that happen.
I took it upon myself to make the executive decision that I needed to get him drunk
first. Have to. Attaboy.
So so he moved in, and on top of all this, he has 2 cats. Okay. And Cliff was like, no big deal. Okay. Whatever. So we moved him in. His cats were here. Cats are nice, the dope. Em was chilling, and so yeah, he's been here for about the same time I have. So about 2 months while we're looking for a house. It's kind of hard to get a house right now.
Oh, yeah.
With all like the stuff like with Corona and stuff. And
yeah.
A lot of these companies like there's procedures where like we have to make sure like they have to sign a contract where like they don't go into like full closure with the house. And,
yeah.
Like if we pay them, they're gonna pay the house bill,
Yeah, for sure.
So it's like one of those times. It's a hard time to find. So like they're just looking right now. So he's just staying here, man. So right now it's me and him at the house, and then Cliff has the master bedroom, and she comes and goes whenever he wants. Like he has his own house and stuff. So whenever he needs to be here, he's here.
Yeah.
But I usually see him like usually once a day. Like he usually comes here. If he goes back to his other house, he'll come back here in the morning instead of like this is his new office for now.
Yeah. Okay.
So
that's tight, man.
Yeah. So other than that, it's just us two for the most part. Like I said, none of us pay bills. Like everything's taken care of by the company.
Yeah.
All the food here is taken care of by the company.
That's what's up. And I know, obviously, as I'm looking at it from like a streamer side, so I'm looking at it from Biddy's side. Like, dude, what a great way to. I don't know what he plays. I don't know what kind of. Obviously, it must be some kind of competition. Actually, like comp game. But just thinking about that side of things, what a great way to be able to hone your craft. And first of all, be so lucky that you have the opportunity to just focus on what you need to get done as far as just gaming and not have to worry about anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, oh my God, that's awesome.
Yeah, so like I said, Cliff is definitely like people like were like, oh, like that would be weird. Like no, like dude, like Cliff is genuinely just that kind of guy that'll put him like that'll do his best to go out of the way to make sure like others are taken care of. Like
yeah,
every person that works for this company, like Cliff would do the same treatment for if he could. Like
Yeah.
he's just like that guy. Like
Dude, when you talk about this stuff, like when you and I first started talking, just during this podcast, hearing the stuff where you're like, yeah, he like let me live with him or whatever. Like immediately, my mind's like, God, that'd be so weird. But literally, as we're approaching the end of this podcast, I'm like, dude, that wouldn't be weird at all. He sounds like such a genuine dude. Like even just having the opportunity to live with, if it was you, Cliff, and somebody like whatever, like I would have no problem with doing that now. Just hearing this stuff.
The first little bit, like the first, I want to say like probably the first month was a little bit awkward. I was like shy to like cook, or like I would if I use like dishes,
it's gonna be a little
like,
weird right at first.
It was definitely a little weird at first. So, like, but as time went by, like his wife Debbie is also like the GFUEL mom,
Okay.
So they have their own kids, whatever. But like, when I was here, I got sick. Like I got really, really sick.
Oh God!
I had like a really bad. This was like before the coronavirus.
Okay, cool. I was about to say, dude, you were freaking out.
Yeah. So I got the flu. So I just flew in, and I think it was like something to do with the climate or something about the air or whatever was different. And I got really, really sick really fast. And so she found out that I was sick, and I was on the couch, like I had the fireplace on. I was just like sleeping all day, like Netflix, and that was really it.
Yeah.
So she would like text me like every hour. She's like, "Hey, how you feeling?" She's like, "Do you want me to order you like some soup?" Like, so they're Jewish.
Okay.
And there's a thing called they call it penicillin soup. It's just like, in reality, it's just like chicken noodle soup with a meatball dumped inside. But so she's like, "Oh, I'll order you some of this. It's called matzo ball soup."
Dude, matzo ball soup is fire.
Yeah, so they call it penicillin soup.
Okay.
I've never
get you back on your feet, bro.
Right. So she's like, "Don't worry." She's like, if you need anything, like let me know. She's like, "I'll bring you home a bunch of medicine." She's like, "If you need like tissues, if you need cough medicine, just let me know. Like I'll get you whatever you need." Like
nice.
So like
dude.
she definitely is like I as much as it weird, it like at first it was weird to say like though like they are like family. It's like they treat me like I'm like one of their I'm like family with them. Like they always ask if I need anything. Like I don't know. It's
such a good quality, man. That's awesome.
It just feels like homey here. Like I never once, like I said, me and Cliff obviously we have a very good like friendship and stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe that helps out with it a bit, but I don't know. I've never once ever like.
Especially coming from what happened at home with you to where you're at now, like, dude, that's like I would never look back. Like,
yeah,
like
even to this day, like my parents still don't like fully, like I said, they don't fully support what I do.
Yeah,
they did a little bit. It's hard to like the things that like I obviously didn't go into full detail like the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, I mean, of course.
But like the stuff that was said between it's like it's hard to just like let them back in.
Yeah, I can imagine it's got to be difficult.
So it's not like an easy thing.
Yeah,
the saying like time heals everything. So hopefully, like I can just like it's just not who I am. Like I can't just forget.
Of course not. I 100%. I know, like when I first started, doing streaming, it was fine as long as it was a hobby. Like from my dad's perspective, my mom was like much like your mom, as far as like do whatever is gonna make you happy.
Right.
But we also want you to pay your bills and have a good life, like most parents would want. But my dad was one that was like, yeah, man, do whatever you want after 5. Like whatever you want to do after 5, it's your thing. And so whenever I first decided, I'm going to quit whatever I'm doing right now, which was selling boats, which was, I took over the family company. And so when I was like, you know what, him and I were the same way with you and your homie now, where we butt heads a lot because I want to do things one way, he wanted to do things his way. And finally one day we got into it long enough, and I said, fuck this, I'm done, and started to do my own thing with streaming and really take it serious. And it hasn't been until like the past, since I moved to this house, that it's been like where he's been like calling and being like, holy shit, like how are things? Like what's been going on? Like what's been happening with streaming and what's going on, man? Like that kind of thing. And that's super cool to hear. But again, you know, I was definitely in that same mindset for a very long time of like, you know, I'm not gonna let you back in on things. So I kind of know where you're at for sure.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. It's like as much as end of the day, they're still family, but like when I was really going through it, I met a lot of people online that like I said, obviously I've shared this story a bunch of times, and like I never really thought about this way until like someone said like a homie of mine, um, that I met through. We sponsored him, and like he became more of like a friend after. Like
Mhm.
he was a really good homie.
Yeah.
Like I met him in person much times. Like we've had drinks, like all that stuff. And he's like, "You got family that's not blood, and I got family. I got blood that's not family. I got family that's not blood."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Damn!" I
That
was like,
resonates hard,
I was
bro.
like, "Holy shit!" Like,
Yeah.
so like as much as like my parents are still like my dad is at least blood related to me, like
Yeah.
it's really hard to just let him back in, like and like
Yeah.
act like nothing was said, or like he didn't just stand around like while I was struggling
Yeah.
to like, you know, I was giving this my all. Like for the first little bit that I was working for this, you know, I was living on like pay to paycheck. Like I between like getting food and like paying rent, like I didn't really have extra money laying around, you know.
Yeah.
So um it was like rough. Like my mom from day one, like she's like, as long as you can pay your bills and you're happy, you know, go for it, you
Do
know.
it. Yeah.
So like me and my mom are a lot closer now, which is funny because me and my mom didn't used to be close.
Really?
Um yeah, like we never like we were close. Like I said, my parents are both divorced and remarried, and I
Yeah.
lived with my mom, and she lives like an hour away from where I live now. Um, but when I was in school there, I was like a trouble. I wasn't a trouble kid, but I definitely found trouble. You know,
Yeah, same.
I wasn't like, you know, I wasn't like into the bad stuff. Like I wasn't like stealing or like
Yeah,
getting into
yeah.
like, you know, none of that stuff. I was just a kid that liked to cause shit.
Yeah.
You know, I was just a fucking shit disturber. That's just what I was. So
Yeah.
you know, I wasn't doing like the best in school. Like
Yeah.
we had some stuff in the family going on. Like when I was younger, like my grandparents passed, and like
Yeah.
it hurt. And it was like when I was like 17, I was grade 11, and that's when like it really started to like fall off. I was more set on making money
Then
than like I was like, man, fuck school,
fuck
right?
school. Yeah. I don't need this shit. Put some money in my
So
pocket.
so I was still doing school, but like I was like ditching like the end of the day because it was just kind of like it was just like there was like gym class, and I
Yeah.
had like history.
Yeah. Don't worry.
So I was
I know
like,
you.
so
I know. I know what you went through.
so I left that, and I went to work with my cousin doing small engine repair. And like when I started making money, dude, I was like, I love money. Like
Well, who doesn't?
so, but I was young, like, you know, back then, like, you know, we don't really like get those adult responsibilities until, you know, until you're done school. Like some
Yeah.
people work like, you know, summer job, whatever. So it was funny because I look back on this because I was like, my dad always like, oh, like, why would Cliff hire you, someone who has no actual professional
Yeah.
um
Experience.
experience behind like your position versus someone he could hire locally that would probably do a lot better than what you did or what you do, and you know, for the same price,
Yeah.
you know. And like that always really hit me when he first told me that. I was like, damn, like that was like the really hard thing. I was like, damn, like you're just gonna shit on me like that?
Yeah.
Like
Like, why wouldn't you be like, man, that's awesome? Like, why wouldn't
why
you look
lie
at
to
that as a
me, like lie to
positive?
me, you know?
Yeah. Like,
Damn.
yeah. Like,
Like
why would that not be turned into like that's such a positive? Like, yeah, why wouldn't he? Well, because I'm better. Like, you know, but I
right.
am the better human being. Like, why are you not gonna get hype about that? Like, come on.
Yeah, so it was definitely rough. Like I said, it's so hard. Like I don't know. It's a hard thing to like reflect to. Like we're like,
Yeah.
wow, like everything that happened in like that whole time of me, you know, losing like losing my hours at Apple to like quitting to my parents kicking me out, like all those struggles, like that whole time leading up to where I like got the raise and I got my own place, like because of GFUEL.
Yeah.
Like I would do that whole thing over again for the same experience.
Hell yeah.
I wouldn't change a single thing, man, because like along that way, like I learned a lot of life lessons, and I learned a lot about myself,
Yeah.
and who I am as like an individual. And like I met some fucking dope people. Like yesterday, I tweeted out that like the amount of people that I've met and the people that I have become friends with, and like that I consider family, and like people that like had a really big impact on like my life. Um, it was all because of like everything that led up to it, and it's all because of GFUEL.
Dude,
Like
that's awesome.
that's why like I always say like I'm always working, and like I love what I do, because like this position like changed my life, literally
Yeah.
changed my life. A lot of people know that like that are involved in our community, I'm getting a work visa,
Yeah.
so
Which is what you
I'm
were
in the
just,
middle
we were
of
talking about that a little bit before the podcast, before we started this.
yeah. So as of right now, it's kind of on hold because of obviously
Yeah, for sure.
for obvious reasons, but we are pretty much on the final side of getting me a work visa.
Which will enable you to
So
be here for how long?
so as of right now, so I can't work. So I can't be on like the actual legit payroll for GFUEL, if that makes sense. Like it sounds bad, but like basically I have to have a contract with GFUEL that enables me as an independent influencer, which means I pay my own taxes, all that stuff. I don't get any health benefits from
Yep.
GFUEL. I'm independent, right? So
Yeah.
once I get that visa, I can move here and I can work on the books. Like, and I don't want to say on the books, like I'm on the books, but I get like I can
The
actually
benefits
work.
and stuff.
I can get the full benefits. I can
Yeah.
work in office. I can get like my US ID. Like,
Yeah.
when I'm here, you can't. It's like I'm only here as an independent. Like, there's certain restrictions I get and
Right.
whatnot. So, yeah. So that is what I'm here.
Are you ever, I know we got to close this out here pretty soon. Are you ever planning on going full scale, full-fledged citizen here?
Oh, if G, obviously it's hard because you can't. It has to be here for 5 years.
Right.
So if that's where GFUEL takes me, then I probably will 100% do it.
Tight.
I have like I said, this, and probably another thing too is I have a girlfriend here that I met in US.
Dude, gotta
so-
marry her. Let's go, baby.
So I assume that is probably I don't want to like just like jump on it and be like that's what's happened, but it's if we're together that long, then I assume that hey, we're not going to do the whole long distance thing when I go back to Canada,
Nope.
for our whole life. So
Nope.
I assume that if the road leads down to there, that'll be the way to go.
Let's go, man. That gets me hyped, dude.
So
well, listen, man. I know you cleared your schedule today for me until like 2:15. I know we're a little bit over that. I really did truly enjoy, because you and I are very new to knowing each other. So the fact the fact that you're like, yeah, man, I'll jump on the podcast, bro.
Funny enough, I forget. I want to say I heard of your name, and it wasn't through Tim. Okay, it wasn't like the whole like, oh, I'm the budget Tim or whatever that clip that went around. That was hilarious. I saw it was actually because of Big E.
Yeah. Okay.
So I forget where I saw him. You guys either played something together, but you guys have so many like similar traits.
Yeah.
Mostly you guys like to yell a lot and use face zooms.
Yeah. I met Biggie way back in the day playing Fortnite, and him and I we went to DreamHack together. We got the same Airbnb, me, like a couple of homies from my crew, and then
like
him.
You guys are like almost like this, like you guys almost like if you guys had the exact same like haircut and hairstyle and stuff, like you guys would look very similar. Like so I was like,
whatever, dude.
Like,
I'm fucking prettier. I'm way prettier than him. Okay, way, and you can quote me on that. Way prettier than Biggie, but
handsome.
Yeah, well, like I said, man, I'm super excited that you came on today. We got to know a little bit about you, especially because, like I said, we're very new to each other and knowing each other. So it gets me fucking hyped that you came on here and talked with me about all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, man,
it really does mean a lot.
I saw it and I was like, you know what? I was like, fuck it. I haven't done a podcast in a while.
Yeah.
If you asked me today to do it, I would like, nah.
Dude, well, that gets me
chilling.
Hype.
I was like, you know what? Like, I like this dude. Like, let's do it. It'll be fun. So,
dude, it means a lot to me, truly. Especially again, I can't reiterate how. I mean, I've known you for like less than a week, and here we are just chatting it out, dude. It's fire. One last question before we get out of here, because
Alright.
this was something I saw earlier, and I have to ask, what
My
is
favorite GFUEL flavor.
your
Am I
favorite
right?
G Fuel flavor? Lay it on me, dude.
All right. So, originally it was coconut. That was my shit.
What?
All right. And then some psycho at the company decided to vault that shit. All right.
Okay.
So I had to find a new alternative. For like the longest time, I didn't find one. But this right here, I always keep this thing on me. It's Dub Melon Mint.
Who
It's
called?
Daquan's
Somebody
flavor.
called that. Somebody said that
Uh,
was definitely going to be your favorite flavor.
This is it. It's like Jolly Rancher watermelon kind of with like a hint of mint after.
Okay.
Muy bien.
Okay.
Scrumptious, dude. My favorite flavor of all time. I can kill I can do this thing all day, every day.
Hell yeah,
The
that's what's
people
up.
that I know who called it earlier. It's the people that are in the community. No,
Hell yeah.
no, definitely that's my that's like always my go-to.
That's
So,
what's up, dude. That's what's up. Well, what do you got? You got anything to shout out? Where can we find you at? Where can we follow you? What do we need to know?
you can follow me on Twitter at it's Kursed. Obviously on Twitch, it's just Kursed. Thankfully, I got that OG handle. Thank
Yeah,
God.
shout out to that. High key.
I don't really use other social media. Like I have like Instagram and stuff, but it's more for like personal stuff. Like I don't really post business on there. But Twitter, and Twitch are like the two main platforms. Yeah, that's pretty much my deal.
All right, I know shit can get weird, dude. We've got some mods shouting some stuff out for you in the chat.
Hey,
Be sure you
thank
guys check him out, dude. I know, again, man, I can't thank you enough for coming on. It's been awesome to hear the story, the hardships, and where you're at now. I'm pumped for you. Your background is fire. Get the fucking soundproofing fixed on your other side, and things will be great, dude.
It's on the list to do today.
It
Okay?
better be done today,
promise.
bro.
I'm losing the banana and strawberry stuff over here.
Good, thank God. It looks like shit.
I know it does. It's horrible.
All right, man, dude. I appreciate you coming through. It means a
Thank you so
lot,
much,
dude. We'll
brother.
talk soon.
I did
All
later.
right, thanks, man. All right, chat. Dude, I appreciate you. Wow, look at how just gross this looks here. Dude, I appreciate all you guys coming out, hanging out, checking out the boy Kursed. Man, that was awesome to talk with him, high key. That was such a cool story. And it's good to have him, man. It's good to have him. Like I said, dude, we're very new to knowing each other, so I can't reiterate enough. I'm hyped to have him come on the show and talk with us a little bit. But for now, I am hanging it up. I will be live again tonight. I know it's early. It's like 2:30 right now for me. I will be live at 6 p.m. Normally I'm live at 7 p.m. I'll be live at 6 p.m. EST because I know this was a short stream. This is kind of will be how the mornings are going to be going for obviously today, tomorrow, and then Thursday as well, where I do kind of just like a morning setup real quick for the podcast and then go into evening stream. So yeah, man, tonight I'll be live at 6 p.m. We'll be getting some games in, hanging out. Yeah, should be a good time. But for sure, 8 p.m., 6 p.m., you're going to be there at 6 p.m. Dude, I don't have a list of everybody that followed me right now. I didn't pull it up because normally I don't look at alerts or anything like that while I'm doing these podcasts. But I do know that we got a couple new follows, and I think some biddies mixed in there too. Either way, I'm very appreciative of all of you guys that kind of came through. I'm very appreciative of having Kursed come through as well. It does mean a lot. So fuck off. Not Friday. I'll be live again tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern, aka like 2.5 or 3.5 hours from now. We'll be getting some games in. I got to move this Go XLR and some other shit upstairs. So yeah, I will see you guys then. Shut up about it, dude. By the way, those alerts, yeah, I saw that a little bit. I could see a little bit of the drop frames here. But either way, this laptop kind of held its own all the way through for the majority of the time. But either way, make sure you guys are following me on my Twitter, which is at DapperJameson. Join into our Discord, !Discord. Become a part of that as well. Also, make sure you're following me on my Instagram, which is also at DapperJameson. Drop me a follow there. I post from time to time. But yeah, man, I appreciate you guys coming through for the podcast. It really does mean a lot. And we will see you guys tonight at 6 p.m. I love you. Wait, the cam's so delayed? Really? Fuck. All right, whatever. We'll get shit figured out. I love you, man. I'm getting out of here. Bye.